Now I got people telling me that technology can be destroyed, and their example or demonstration is to tell me to throw my cell phone down on the ground, and then I've just destroyed technology. No, you are ignorant and an idiot because all you did was destroy your phone. You could destroy 5 billion cell phones, and that would not destroy the technology of cell phones. Okay, because technology is a byproduct of knowledge. You can't have technology without the knowledge to do it, to make a plan, process, and repeated execution for more than one cell phone. So the knowledge is in your head. It is transferred to a hard drive, a chalkboard, or a piece of paper. Okay? Technology cannot exist. It cannot exist on its own. It's a byproduct of knowledge, of what people come up with in their heads with plan, process, and repeated execution to make more than one. Knowledge is key. What it produces, the byproduct, is that technology. Do you understand that breaking a cell phone is not destroying cell phone technology? It is just breaking one phone. Stupid. Real technology cannot regress. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be stunted. Real technology can only progress, advance, and be relentlessly perfected as the car, the train, the plane, the phone, the light bulb, and the computer. All real technology, all relentlessly perfected, advanced, and continually progresses. There's only one thing on the table that fails to meet the standard of demonstrable reality, and that's the Apollo missions. In 1969, they say we went to the moon 6 times from 1969 to 1974 or 73. I gotta look it up and see what your masters at Google say it was. But around there. And we get fake, phony press releases that NASA accidentally erased the moon landing tapes. Then a few years later, NASA accidentally sold the moon landing tapes to a NASA intern. And whoever finds them will become a millionaire. And most recently, Don Pettit, fake astronaut for NASA, says, I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. Problem is, NASA destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build back again. That statement is more than asinine. It has so many problems. First of all, and allegedly, we are in the year 2022, which I question. And this technology he refers to is 50 plus years old. Now, we are told, and we can demonstrate, that computer technology advances exponentially every 2 years. It advances. Okay? Now, I believe the first computer was called the Z1. I could be wrong, but to my memory serves me correctly, it was a Z1, and it took up a few rooms to run this computer. Now, that became your desktop, and now it's your laptop and tablet and cell phone. Real technology progresses. It advances and is relentlessly perfected if it is real, if there is a knowledge that will allow someone to make a plan, process, and repeated execution. We do not have to rely on old technology of someone telling me, well, what an old brick Nokia phone compared to a present day smartphone. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even understand what you're saying. Why are you comparing technology that exists to something they're saying they destroyed and cannot build back again? How does that compute? How are you comparing technology that can be demonstrated to some stuff that they say they can't even build back again and was destroyed. What does that mean? Is that what they meant by NASA accidentally erased the moon landing tapes and then a few years later accidentally sold them to a NASA intern for $290? And whoever finds them is going to become a millionaire selling them at auction? You people have been systematically dumbed down to instantaneously believe, accept, and defend this garbage. You are being mocked. Real technology cannot regress. It cannot be stunted, and it surely cannot be destroyed because knowledge cannot be destroyed. Knowledge is passed on. If one person can figure something out, that means it's possible. And if something is possible, anyone can figure it out over time, depending on your IQ or your abilities and aptitude. If something can be done, you see, knowledge does not discriminate to those who can figure it out. If something can be done, it can be done. It can be repeated. You people, don't you see the problem with saying or telling me, throw my cell phone down and it'll break, and you have destroyed technology? You have not destroyed technology. You've destroyed your ability to use your phone if you don't have another one, but cell phone technology continues, and it still exists on the earth. You could destroy every cell phone on the earth, and it would not destroy that technology because it would be in people's heads. Don't you understand? At the patent office, on hard drives, on paper, and in people's heads. And let's say you could somehow use a microwave and erase all that. We could figure it out again because it is possible knowledge that results in the byproduct of technology. So this guy saying that nonsense about NASA destroyed the technology that got us to the moon is illogical. A painful process to build back again? Illogical. We would not need any 50-year-old. Okay, if all the cars were gone, do you think we'd have to start building Model Ts again? No, we would not have to do that. We could produce a modern-day car again. There wouldn't be no need to resort or revert back to one of the first cars that came out, made by Mercedes or Bach or whatever his name was in Germany. Okay, we do not need to rely on 100-year-old or 50-year-old technology. You know, the computers they had were the equivalent of a Texas Instrument calculator of today. And the computers we have today have a trillion times more space and processor speed than what they had back then. Now they tell us they can't even go 251 miles. They can't go higher than 250 miles. Allegedly, they went over 500,000 or almost 500,000 miles, 240,000 miles to the moon, and 240,000 back, which rounded off is almost 500,000 miles. What they're doing is they're waiting for you fools to die off, and then they can start over again like they're doing, ever so slightly, by saying they're making building block components to blast off a capsule called Orion to investigate the solar system. Okay, you people are dumbed down. You don't have no rebuttal. You cannot destroy technology. You would have to destroy the knowledge, and you can't. As long as there's a person, people around, then that knowledge can be figured out again because it was possible. We had it. They say we had it, but it's a painful process to build back again, which is illogical. You do not have to build the exact or old machines to produce some old ass rocket. By the way, which they say is still in existence, the Saturn V rocket. If you Google it, they'll tell you at Johnson Space Center there's 3 of them. And one of them is comprised of certified flight hardware. That means it's 100% original. 2 of them they say are stripped, but 1 is the same. So the rocket ship that blasted them to the moon, they say is still there. And they can say these things because you in the audience, the peanut gallery, has been systematically dumbed down. You have not been trained in any forensic skill or means to understand you are being mocked. You have to decide to only believe that which can be demonstrated. Then you can start catching these liars and seeing that they're using harnesses, augmented virtual reality, and they're employing one theory after another to support lies. Theories are just lies. Lies are being masqueraded as theories, and you people are eating up one artist rendering, artist impression, conception, CGI animation. The technology they say we have is only represented in CGI animation. Go Google satellites and you'll get 1,000 pictures of cartoons. Okay? And when I say that they tell us the year is 2021, well, I can show you if you go look at your calendar. They say there's 12 months in a year, 7 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month. Well, 28 days don't equal 30-day month. It equals 28 days. 4 weeks in a month is 30 days. 7, 14, 21, 28. No. And there are suspicious names of months in our calendar, like October. How can October represent the 10th month? When October represents 8, or octopus, 8 arms, octagon, 8 sides. October cannot be the 10th month. But you have been so systematically dumbed down that you don't notice these things because you're too busy wanting to do whatever it is you do to finish so you can watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, December, they pronounce it a certain way, but it won't evade me because decade, DEC stands for decade, which is 10, or Decalogue, Decapolis, the 10 cities. December cannot represent the 12th month. It would represent the 10th month. Okay? So the whole story that we're told, the time frames, people talk about mud flood and giants. Giants did exist. That's why, I was going to make this video longer. I just wanted to do the NASA thing. But if you Google giant doors, you'll see all the doors 10 times, at least 6 times larger than they should be for a normal 6-foot tall guy. And these cathedrals and beautiful things they made were not made by people riding horses and carts and wagons and cement and brick that is impervious to destruction. If you had a brick from the 1700s and a modern day brick, it would only take one hit with a hammer to break the modern day brick, but it would take 8 or 9 good hits to break the old brick. And they admit they don't have the recipe no more for the old stuff that they say stands for thousands a year, 1,000 years, 1,500 years old, some of these buildings. And a lot of people think that what I think, the mud flood was a result of Noah's Ark. It didn't happen that long ago. It dang sure didn't happen 4,000 years ago the way they try to say, well, if it did, it's 4,000 years ago. No, less than 1,000. And I'll say this, I don't want to, confuse anyone, but I used to always think to myself, wow, Jesus has been gone 2,000 years? Dang, that's a long time. And I no longer think that. I don't think Jesus has been gone even 600 years. You understand? The mud flood, the bottoms of buildings being underground still, even here in Rochester. The people that were living on the earth, even maybe 200 years ago, were way bigger in stature than us. Okay, and you can even see this in the Bible. David, I should get the verse. I'm going to get the verse. Hold on. So I found it because I was doing a study on it the other day, writing some things down. Now listen here. David went and captured the city of Rabbah, and in 2 Samuel 12:30, we're told that once David conquered the king of Moab, that King David took the king of Moab's crown and wore it. So he took it off the head of the king of Moab and put it on. And this crown weighed 1 talent. 1 talent is 75 pounds. How could David wear a crown that weighed 75 pounds? How could the king of Moab wear a crown that heavy? No modern day man on the face of the earth could wear any headgear that was 75 pounds. Now, mind you, there's two types of talents. This is a version of weight. A regular talent is 75 pounds, while the king's talent or a royal talent is 150 pounds. So I'm going to say this was a regular talent that weighed 75 pounds, and David wore this crown. They always depict David as some 5 foot tall guy, 5'3", 5'4", okay? And I don't believe so. I believe these men were much bigger. Certainly Adam was a 12, 13, 14, even 15-foot tall guy. The Adam and Eve and their offspring, the line of Seth, they lived to be almost 1,000 years old. They were much different in stature than we were. And Cain was cursed, the first murderer. He was tattooed or branded. And we're also told that after the flood, that the Amorites in Amos 2:9, that the Amorites, a lot of them were as tall as cedar trees. Do you know how tall a cedar tree is? They're over 20 feet tall. And I believe the Bible, and when I use scripture, it's to demonstrate a reality. David could not have wore a 75-pound crown, unless he was of a much greater stature than we are now. 1 second. Then we have Absalom, David's son, and he would pull his hair or cut his hair once a year. And just the hair that he cut weighed over 6 pounds. I believe they called it 200 shekels, but that interpreted is almost 6 pounds of hair. Do you know how much hair you would have to stick in a bag or pillowcase to weigh 6 pounds? These men were of a much greater stature than we are today. And David, after he killed Goliath, who was almost 12 feet tall, I believe more. I think they are lying about what a cubit is. A cubit is supposed to be 18 inches. I think it's probably 2 feet. But after David killed Goliath with a slingshot, which he did, he took Goliath's sword and cut off Goliath's head. And David brandished Goliath's sword for a while. He carried it around. He put it in his tent, then it wound up in a temple where David went to eat some shewbread. Him and his men were hungry, and he took that sword of Goliath. They had it. So men of old, even 150 years ago, they were bigger than us. You can look at the doors on these cathedrals, and they're 5 times bigger than what they should be for a normal man. And these people were going around on horses, donkeys, mules, pulling carts. There's no way they could have built the cathedrals we see in America, Europe, Russia, these fantastical, glorious buildings, some 1 million square feet. These they were probably the remains of the people that died in the flood. They built these things. And these things did not happen as long ago as we are taught. If you Google how long has man, modern man, been on the earth, they'll tell you sometimes 200,000 years and sometimes 300,000 years. I'll go with the 200,000 years. That is ridiculous if we've been here that long. Modern man, we'd be so advanced. The technology we have today could not be described. You'd have to be shown it. That's how advanced it would be. There's no way if we were here 200,000 years, that we were 195,000 years retarded, going around on mules and donkeys and horses until what they call the Industrial Revolution, where from 1820 to 1930, 110 years, we invented everything: the plane, the train, the light bulb, the computer, the telephone. We invented all these things in a 110-year time period, and all we have done, the computer too, 1930, and all we have done from 1930 to present is relentlessly perfect them and advance them. The phone, the car, the plane, the train, the light bulb, computer, we've perfected them. And back to the original topic of this video is real technology cannot be destroyed. It cannot regress and it cannot be stunted. The plane, the train, the light bulb, the computer, everything we have, the telephone is relentlessly perfected, relentlessly advances, and relentlessly progresses. It cannot regress. It cannot be stunted, and it cannot be destroyed. Therefore, it is a fact what fake astronaut Don Pettit says. NASA destroyed the technology that got us to the moon, and it's a painful process to build back again. Is asinine and illogical on so many levels. We would not need 50-year-old technology. We would not need it. Okay, the computing technology, processor speed, and hardware or hard drive, memory storage has advanced a trillion times since then. We are lied to about going to the moon. We are lied to about our own true history. In the Bible, Solomon, or in Ecclesiastes, it says there is nothing new under the sun. And that is a true statement. Back then, there was nothing new under the sun. And what will be, and it'll be again. That means that these people had a technology as great as ours. Look at the Tower of Babel. They try to depict this thing, this ziggurat, as something maybe on a good day as high as the Empire State Building. No. This thing was so advanced and so tall that it caught the attention of God Himself. All the world were one people. They spoke one language. I'm not saying they were all the same color or didn't have differing ethnicities, but they all spoke the same language and they were all one people. Okay, so knowledge and technology can advance when you can all communicate. And they built this Tower of Babel. God looked at it and said, these people are going to reach heaven, because the Bible says heaven is above the earth. Okay? And it is. God's throne is above the earth. And God said, I got to do something, or nothing will be beyond these people. So God came down and scattered them, destroyed the Tower of Babel, and scattered the people. And that Tower of Babel must have been a marvel to reach the sky, almost maybe to the firmament. Okay? And the stuff we make, God doesn't notice that. He's not coming down to do anything. The junk we're building in Dubai, and that stuff, that's the tallest building built on sand, man-made land. Okay, we're lied to about so many different things. You need to wake up. What you need to do in a nutshell is stop instantaneously believing everything scientism tells you. Google is good for some things, but Wikipedia is full of lies, theories that are used to explain away other theories. Gravity is fake. It has no presence in substance of itself. To interact, engage, or engulf other matter to pull, hold, or curve it down, you need presence and substance of current, field, wave, beam, ray, particle, or molecule, graviton. It doesn't have any of that. That's why if you Google, what don't we know about gravity? The number one answer is, however, if we are to be honest, we don't know what gravity is itself in any fundamental way. That's because for 500 years, gravity's been a theory. It's never been directly detected itself. It's never been directly identified itself. It's never been directly isolated itself. And it will never be harnessed because gravity itself is fake. You are not standing on the outside surface of a giant, spinning spherical water world space ball, spinning faster than a bullet at the equator, speeding through an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. My God.